What up? What up? What up? We back with the day 9 reaction of the R. Kelly trial. All right, where do we want to go with this? Yeah, we'll go with this. So we start off with Suzette Mayweather, who is a former assistant to the R&B singer, who testified on Tuesday that he once made two of his girlfriends fight at a party. Okay. She said she got upset when they were twerking for cake and told them to fight. He got upset when they were twerking for cake and told them to fight. That's that's very interesting that they was twerking for cake. Not even that he told them to fight. Twerking for cake. That's a lot of desperation to be in his good graces. Good graces. That's a whole lot. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it. Twerking for cake. At another time, she said the singer became angry with her due to a discussion she had with one of his girlfriends about their relationship, which means she probably overstepped her boundaries. But again, like I keep saying, all of this is hearsay because nobody is able to show us any physical evidence that any of these things ever happened. She is now the fourth former employee to take the stand against the Grammy Award-winning singer. Everybody is a former employee at this point. The man is flat broke. Over the past few weeks, witnesses have detailed the strict rules Kelly made his girlfriends and his employees follow. So she goes on to say he didn't like that they were twerking for cake. Suzette Mayweather, who worked as one of Kelly's assistants, said at a federal court in Brooklyn on Tuesday as the trial into Kelly's sex crimes continues. People have twerked for cake in the past as a fun party game to see who would get the next slice. I never heard of that game, but all right. And it could have been quite embarrassing. I don't know if he actually told them to fight. That's quite silly and odd if he told them to fight, though. But again, you have to take everyone at their word. The sad thing is he'll never probably take the stand to defend himself against any of these allegations. So Mayweather said that at a January 4th, 2016 party, Kelly had two of his girlfriends get on each other or fight. And see, again, now she sounds confused because she says get on each other or fight. Now she just stated that he told them to fight. So she said she could hear the girls laughing or screaming and thumping noises coming from upstairs, which she believed was them fighting. So again, another witness who's now turned out to be not credible, because now it went from he made them fight to now I could hear the girls laughing or they were screaming and thumping noises coming from upstairs, which she believed was them fighting. She didn't even see it. So again, I don't even know why she's on the stand at this point or telling this story, because she didn't see any of these things happen. And this is what I keep telling you guys. A lot of this stuff is happening and, we're not able to really corroborate any of these stories. Kelly reportedly later told her that while the birthday party only included females, he was upset one of his girlfriend's cousins leaned more on the masculine side. So, if he was upset about that, that would take you to then ask, how credible is the guy who said he had sex with him if Kelly is not interested in people on the masculine side. Like I said, that was the first time I ever heard of R. Kelly being gay. Is that true? Well, bisexual. Could that be true? Could be. I don't know. Mayweather now is the fourth employee to take the stand against the Grammy Award winning singer, all of whom have detailed the strict rules they and his girlfriends had to adhere to while near him. His employees were supposed to enforce the rules, Mayweather said, and report any wrongdoing. If they themselves did not follow the rules, at least 3 employees said they would have their pay docked. And I get it. I get that right there. You got a job to do. You don't do it, you should get your pay docked. Several witnesses have already described the bizarre rules they had to follow, including asking permission to use the bathroom, which again we talked about, which means you didn't have free will to move around, but you had free will to get up and leave the home. Calling him daddy, wearing baggy clothing, and facing the elevator doors if a man entered the room. They did not move unless they had his permission, said Mayweather, who worked for Kelly from October 2015 to February 2017. If there was a male present, I interacted with the male. So again, now we have a woman who's upset and hurt and doesn't know what's going on and is appalled by R. Kelly's behavior. Yet again, another adult woman who sat by and watched him mistreat women for almost 2 years and never said a word. She said she had thought of Kelly as a brother after knowing him for decades, but it wasn't until she was working for him that she saw a different side of him, or a different side to him. So you've known him for decades, thought of him as a brother. You started working for him in October 2015. Again, we already knew about the Aaliyah situation. We already knew about the little girl and the sex tape at that point. So again, the evidence is already there for you to either make your judgments that he is what he is or he's not. And obviously, Miss Mayweather, you didn't feel R. Kelly was a terrible person. Or again, you wanted a part of the celebrity. You wanted to be able to be in that circle of celebrities that he was able to be in. And that was just more important to you at that point, which is why, again, she can't be credible to me either. So now, when you take a step back and take a look at all of this, what do we have here? What do we have here? We have a bunch of witnesses who are not credible at this point. And that's very alarming in a case of this magnitude. It's very alarming that the feds would take this case on. And I told you, the feds don't usually prosecute unless they have an airtight case, which means this was called down or called in from a heavy hitter. I have my suspicions of who that heavy hitter is, but we'll wait till the trial ends. Mayweather recounted to the jurors how Kelly once made her go get him sweet potato pie in the middle of the night. And when she returned to his Chicago studio nicknamed the Chocolate Factory, Kelly told her, "I thought you were going to fail your test." Now again, we have to have a conversation. There goes that word again, made her. Gun went to your head. You wasn't made to go do anything. You made a decision. And if you guys were as tight as you thought you were, He wouldn't even make you go do something like that in the middle of the night. You thought of him as your brother. Another time, she said she got into an argument with Kelly because she spoke to one of Kelly's girlfriends about their relationship. Between tears, she said the conversation got so heated, she decided to lie to Kelly about who initiated the conversation out of fear of repercussions for the girlfriend. Now, again, these stories date back to almost 2000 and what? Well, 1994, I believe. She said she's viewed him as a brother for decades. So we just say on the light side, 20 years. Then we just take it back to 97. A lot of these women came into play around 2000. So either you knew and you was a part of this ring or you wasn't. See, a lot of the adults now who coming out, these 35, 40-year-old women who coming out and 40, 45-year-old men and women coming out talking, you do have to take into account what's on the line for them, and that's their freedom. Because the feds play hardball. So when they come to you and they, hey, we'll offer you immunity if you testify for us. Okay, fine, I will. So I don't have to go to jail. Which now makes them not credible, because now she's telling you she threw it all on the line. Her relationship with her brother and all the so-called brother, she put it all on the line out of fear of repercussions for one of the girlfriends. And again, you see what she referred to her as, a girlfriend. I keep telling you, these were relationships he were in. So we can't really, again, have a racketeering case where they're saying he was running some type of sex ring over here. Majority of these women are being referred to as girlfriends. The majority of these women who come and testify said what? They thought they was in a relationship with him. This particular incident was the first time that I had ever seen Rob really that upset, she said, noting that she received a fine for breaking the rule. It was not the tone, it was the look in his eyes. After that, the New York Times reports Mayweather alleged Kelly docked her pay and wanted her to write a letter of apology. So again, we get to another point of he's giving all these stern looks, and sometimes it's his tone. Because no one really has physical evidence of him abusing them. So what they're now going to do is try and show the jury that I was terrified by the looks he was giving me. I didn't know what he was capable of. So now we go to the other witness of the day. And that is a woman who wasn't a fan, but testified she was exposed to a sexually transmitted disease after Kelly enticed her to join him on the road. The witness who testified as Faith said she was 19 when her older half-sister invited her to a Kelly concert in San Antonio in 2017. Her sibling was a fan of his music, she said, but I was not. So, wasn't a fan, ended up in a sexual relationship with R. Kelly. But she's also stating what? She was 19. This happened in San Antonio in 2017. So again, we had a sex tape that's out. We know what's going on with Aaliyah. Yet again, you have young girls, 18, 19 years old, on the road with R. Kelly. And you could say the 19-year-old girl that she probably didn't even know. Because at that point, That tape came out, she probably was 3, 4, 5 years old. Decent parents, she wouldn't know the tape even existed, to be honest with you. But now we have to ask, where are her parents at when she's out on the road with R. Kelly? The sisters were invited to a backstage after party, thus beginning what she described as a brief what? Relationship. Again, none of these women are actually saying they were forced to do anything. They all thought they was his girlfriend at the end of the day. Her testimony suggested the relationship included elements that matched those described by earlier witnesses who testified they were sexually abused by Kelly when they were in high school. I don't know why that southern tone just came out like that. Kelly paid for Faith's flights and hotel rooms to attend his concerts in cities where he demanded sex from her. And she was fine with it. So you have to ask yourself again, why is she here? 19-year-old girl accepting flights, hotel rooms, coming out to sleep with him. Why are we here? Prosecutor asked whether he told her he had herpes or wore condoms. No, he did not, she responded. Next question again is, why are you having unprotected sex with him anyway, unless you want what? A child. See, a lot of these things, even when we talk about HIV and how that's running rampant in the gay community, a lot of this is just put a condom on and be safe. You don't know any of these people. You have to understand, if he's flying me out to sleep with me today, how many other women is he doing this with? It probably would be a wise thing for him to put a condom on. Faith is one of the 6 complaining witnesses whose allegations underlie the sex trafficking, racketeering, and other charges Kelly faces at the trial in federal court in Brooklyn. So far, the jury has heard testimony from or about 5 of those women. So, as we wrap up day 9, what have we found out? We found out that Miss Mayweather wanted what? She just wanted some of the limelight. And you can't really say that you can believe her, she's credible, because you said you've been friends with, you thought of him as a brother for decades. His reputation precedes itself. It speaks for itself, honestly. These stories have been going on in the news for I don't know how long. And for Miss Mayweather, we heard the Sparkle testimony. Sparkle was banging on the drum for years that he was a monster. Saw the sex tape. You heard his ex-wife, Drea Kelly. You have too many examples where R. Kelly is. You have too many examples of who R. Kelly is at this point. For an adult, a grown woman, not to know what's going on. So what do I take from her testimony? She's a liar. Either she's a liar, well, she has to be a liar. There's no way else. There's nothing else I could say to make her credible at this point. Because if she truly cared, she would have been the one to turn R. Kelly in when he was abusing the girls. She would have been the one that would have been able to go to the cops and say, hey, this is going on in his house. From 2015 to 2017, she should have been able to put together an airtight case for the feds, just off her testimony alone, just off the evidence she should have been able to gather. But what did she tell you? It wasn't his tone. It was the look he gave me. Then you have Faith, I don't even know why Faith is here, except to tell you that he burned her. So unless they're trying to find a pattern, which again, they're not charging them with that either, though. So unless they're trying to find a pattern and say, hey, he was just knowingly infecting girls or young ladies, girls, grown women with herpes, I don't even know why the girl Faith is on the stand at this point. She added nothing, but basically to say, he flew me out. Now, again, they do say it was her relationship included elements that matched those described by earlier witnesses who testified they were sexually abused by Kelly when they were in high school. I don't know what comparison you're trying to make at this point. What are we trying to link together when you say Kelly paid for Faith's flights and hotel rooms to attend his concerts in cities where he demanded sex from her? And see, they'll use the word demanded as to, again, try and say he forced her to. But again, she stated what? We had a brief relationship. So it just is what it is. The feds are going to have to do a better job the rest of this trial, Lord. Even if they was to find him guilty, I would see him getting off and winning an appeal and getting it overturned. So I'll be back with day 10. This is your boy, the Hood Nerd. I'm out.